All right, boom. Good to go. All right, so this is another segment of Let's Talk Everything. Host is Era. Do you know why they call me Era?
No, I never even heard anybody call you that name.
Really?
No.
If you look at like a lot of my old like Instagram pictures when I used to do like graffiti and art and stuff, that would be like.
You did that too?
Yeah.
Jeez.
I try to do everything. I like everything. But yeah, if you go back, because I mean this was years ago. If you go back, it was always Era, and Era is just the acronyms of my name. That's all it is.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it's EAR, but I just put it. You know what I'm saying? I just messed it
Yeah.
up. Anyway, so that's why. Cause so a little background between me and you. You can say your name.
I don't know which name.
Your whatever name.
Okay, so my name's Katrina, but people, I just put Kat because I hate people saying it different ways.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember that. But so we met each other in middle school. How long ago was it?
So I knew who you were in the seventh grade based on everybody talking about you because you were one of everybody's crushes.
Really?
Yes.
You're making me blush.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Because I didn't even know that.
No, for real. Like people would say, like, "Oh, Edgar is cute." I'm like, "Who the fuck is Edgar?" And so, like, I was like, "Oh." And then eighth grade, that's when we officially got introduced because we were in Saldana's class.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought I met you in seventh grade or something. I don't know, something like that.
No.
All I know is because, I think the earliest memory that I have of you is that you didn't like me.
Here we go with this.
Is that true or not?
I didn't like you because you didn't like me because you were mean to me.
How was I mean?
You were like rude to me. Like you would like look at me ugly or like you would just like give me like sarcastic remarks and I'm like, oh, what did I do to you? So then I just like never talked to you.
Oh, well, I mean, it's funny you say that because I've always been like that my whole life. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll be cool with people, like I'll talk a little bit of shit and then some people might take that wrong and then like they make this whole thing up about me, like, or I'm not a good person, and all the while I'm like, I didn't even know that you felt that way about me. Oh. But at the end of the day, I don't honestly, I really don't care. If people like me, cool. If don't, I mean, whatever.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, whatever.
But so yeah, like my earliest memory, I think my first memory of you was you were talking shit about the shoes that I was wearing.
I was?
Yeah.
Maybe I was doing that because you were being mean to me already.
See, and it's just miscommunication. Because if you would have told me, if you just would have went up and told me like, hey, do you not like me? I'd be like, no, I think you're cool. Like you're whatever. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand. It's so crazy that happened. And I'm probably just being a little bit modest because I did like date a lot of those girls. So anyway, but yeah, so met each other then, and then I moved out of like the that area of that side of town. I went to Churchill, and we kind of like lost touch. You know what I'm saying? We didn't talk.
Yeah, I think a lot of people did.
Yeah, everybody did for the most part, and then we reconnected. I think after high school. I think that's when we like started.
Ooh, it was like, yeah, I think it was.
I think when like Facebook or something was popping. You know what I mean? When it first started to pop, something like that.
Yeah.
That and then we like kind of lost touch again because I think you got in a relationship or something. And something like that, right? I mean, who knows?
At one point I just started working, and then I was going to school, and then, I was, hanging out with friends at the time, and then.
Gotcha. Yeah, for sure. So within that time, obviously, relationships, kids came apart. How many kids do you have?
So I have 2 biological kids, and then I have 2 stepdaughters. So there's 4 altogether.
Yeah. That's a lot of kids. That's good.
Yeah, especially when there's 3 girls. That's a lot.
I can imagine. Are you married?
No.
Not married.
No.
Are you like? Is that? I'm pretty sure that's in the plan because you've been together with your boyfriend for a while, then, right?
Yeah, 6 years. We don't want to get married until we have everything settled. So like, we talked about getting married, but we're waiting to get custody. Gotcha. So we got custody. But then my mom gave us my childhood home. So we're like, okay, we'll move and we'll get everyone into this home where everyone's happy and comfortable, and then we'll get married. So we're working on that now, and then that's in the plan after.
Got you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can get married at any time, really. I mean,
I don't know. I guess like we just see it as more like let's get everyone else, settled and comfortable first.
Yeah.
Before we do that. I don't know. It's
yeah,
just
yeah. So, from my personal experience, I try to do that too, and I waited too long. You know what I'm saying? Because in my mind, I was always like, no, let me, get a house, get new cars, have money in the bank.
Yeah.
And then once everything's settled, get married.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I thank God that I did it that way because it really pushed me in the right direction, because I don't know how it would have been if I did it the opposite, if I got married first and then got the house and then got the cars and then got the money, this and that, which I guess it should be like that. But I thank God every day that it didn't happen, because it pushed me to where I am now. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
But, because like I said, honestly, it doesn't take nothing to get married. You can be rich, broke. I mean, it doesn't really matter. But, I mean, if you want to do it a certain way, whatever works. I mean, 6 years is a long time,
Oh,
so.
yeah, it is. But, like, we call each other, husband and wife,
Yeah, of course.
So it's like,
you're
honestly,
married. That's what you're
married.
Like,
honestly, it's like a piece of paper, but we just want to go do the deal in Vegas. But, obviously, that's going to cost money, like, with the planning we want to do. So that's why we're like, well, let's do the house first. That's one big thing off the list. And then, like, we want to have a house payment. He just has to pay, my car.
Yeah.
And the house insurance, the bill. So it's like we have all this extra money, so we can go and do whatever we want.
That's true. But you're not legally married through the court or nothing?
No.
Because you could do that for, what? How much? What does it cost? Like $80, $100, something like that?
Around there. Yeah, but I don't want to get married here. I want to get married over there.
Why? What's the difference?
Because, like, that's our spot where we have no obligations. It's like
I got you.
Our sanctuary.
I got you. Definitely agree with that. But I mean, I don't think I've told you my stance on that, right? Like, I don't believe in love, and marriage is just like it's the most ridiculous thing. Don't you agree? Like, why do you what's the point of marriage? You're just signing a piece of paper saying that you belong to somebody else.
That's what he's told me.
In the eyes of a government, that's it.
Yeah.
Which has nothing to do with someone's relationship in the beginning. So to me, it's ridiculous. If you get married today with the person that you think you love, or you're in love, whatever, what is gonna stop them from cheating on you, leaving you, doing whatever on you? A piece of paper is not gonna do that.
No, it's not.
You know what I'm saying? The thing is, you when people really dig into it, is you get married, and marriage is like a religious thing, like where that's a bond with you and God. Like, to me, that's how it should be.
Yeah.
But people don't take it that way.
No.
People get married 3, 4, 5 times. So how do you? And I tell everybody this, and nobody ever gives me like a good enough answer. It's like, how do you believe in love? Like, why do people believe in love? Because they need to feel some type of sentiment with some type of connection with somebody. But it doesn't exist. Love doesn't exist. You know why love doesn't exist? I'm going to tell you.
Go on.
So, okay. First off, let me ask you a very basic question. Depending on how you answer, will tell me how you look at it.
Okay.
You think that you can love somebody. You think that you can love more than one person.
Do I think I can love more than one person?
Yeah, like in love. You think you can be in love with more than one person in your life?
No.
No, right?
No.
Okay. So you can't love somebody more than once. And other women will tell me, I can love multiple people in my life. Like, I loved him in a period of my life. That's not love.
That's like lust.
That's lust. That's infatuation. That's some type of curiosity for somebody. Or that's how somebody makes you feel about yourself.
Yeah, or you're trying to convince yourself you love this person in hopes this person is going to love you back. The way that you feel like you're going to love him. Yes.
So that is not love. Love, when you're in love, to me, you're in love with somebody, that's it. You are only in love with that person. Mm-hmm. If you love them, you will do anything for them. If you love them, if you love somebody, you're not going to cheat on them. You're not going to, let them, starve. You're not going to let them do whatever if you love them. So, if I love somebody and we're having disagreements and we're fighting and stuff like that, then I would do everything that I in my power to keep them, right?
Oh yeah.
So why doesn't that happen? You know what I'm saying? People say all the time is like, I asked this, and I'm gonna ask you too. Do you know anybody that got married in the last 10 years? So from 2009 2019, do you know anybody that got married, that is married, that are still married, and if they are married, are still faithful, love each other, still the same way they were when they first were together? Do you know anybody like that?
What do you mean, like still the way they were, like still
in love from the first month that they were together, the first year they're together, up until whenever? That hasn't cheated, hasn't left and got back together. No. I'm talking about in love, been together
since they've gotten married.
Since any.
I think only one couple since they got married that I know. It's just all about their little
happiness.
family.
Okay, awesome. I'm not saying that's impossible.
Oh,
but that's one couple out of how many do you know?
Many.
How many couples do you know? How many people that you've come across with? Not even that you know that you're friends with, people that you've worked with, people that you've came across in your life. How many of those people are like that?
It's very slim. Like
I
think
a small.
They're like the only main ones.
A small amount. It's
so sad actually. Like I actually frown upon. Like I had a friend that was like, just wasn't faithful, and I'm like, why do y'all get married? Like, why do y'all make it look like a bad thing? It's not supposed to. It's supposed to be a powerful bond, like something like, like you said with God. I mean, people are religious, whatnot.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, like it's a sacred thing between you and your spouse, and y'all do that, and like it just really pisses me off.
And it's and that's what I'm saying. So it comes back to that. Like it's not. It doesn't exist. Like it really does not exist, because at some point, I tell somebody, it's like, especially younger people. Like I'm not old, but I've like somebody that's like 21, 22, and they tell me like, oh, I want to get married, and I'm like, do you really think about that? Really think about that. You're 22, and you have an average lifespan about 80 years old, so you're gonna spend the 60 years of your life with the same person that you've only known for a year, 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
And you're going to spend 60 years of that. Really think about it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But, kids are kids. They're going to be stupid. But they got to go through those experiences. But it's just so crazy. But once again, I don't believe in love. I believe in a strong connection with somebody. Mm-hmm. I believe that you care for somebody. But for me to say that I will feel the same about this individual until the day that I die. Not your kids, just like, somebody. Because there's also different levels of love. There's the word love is it's relative. Mm-hmm. Like your definition of love is not my definition of love. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like everybody has their own definition. Like the love for my son will surpass anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Except for, love of God, because I believe in God. You know what I mean? I don't believe in religion, but I believe in God. So my love for my son and my mom will surpass anything else. But I can care for somebody. I've cared for a lot of people. I care for their well-being. I care that they hopefully have a good future. Like a lot of exes that I've had in my life that are really good women, and I'm, because I'm a piece of shit. I'm be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Every woman that I was ever with, every single one of them, I cheated on them with. That's how. It's the truth. It's the truth. I'm not, and now because I'm older, I've been single for a long time. I come to accept that, and I tell everybody that. I tell every woman that the truth. Hey, I'm a cheater. I don't do it now. This is the reason I don't do it now. It's not that because I don't have those same feelings.
Mm-hmm.
It's that I don't want what it comes with it. I don't want the hiding text messages. I don't want the crying conversations. I don't want... I'm too busy. Like I was, talking to you earlier about, it's like I have a real busy life,
mm-hmm.
work, my son, everything else. I don't have time to be going through that, little kid bullshit. So that's why I don't cheat now. But those feelings are still there. Like, we could be walking down the street holding hands, and like a gorgeous woman is going to walk by, and I'm a guy. Most guys, they probably don't want to admit it to you or anybody. Most guys would be like, "That's just fucking hot."
I don't ever see a problem with that. Should I look too? I'm like, oh, look, that girl's pretty. Yeah, she's
right. Okay, but and that's like an older thing. Like that's just a maturity thing because younger women will be like, what the fuck are you looking at?
Yes, they are dramatic.
So, but guys are like that. Men are like that.
Women are like that.
Exactly. Just, maybe it doesn't go through your mind where like, damn, he's hot. I want to fuck the shit out of him. Yeah. I don't know if that. Maybe I don't know. But guys are gonna be like, God dang, dude, I would fucking nail her. Whatever the case is. But I'm very self-aware of myself. I'm very like self-reflective, so I know how I am. Mm-hmm. So going forward, I don't think I'll have issues with women because I am who I am.
Yeah.
I'm very transparent. Nothing's women are not gonna get anything different from me than what I already show. But I tell everybody the same. I don't believe in love because of it. But sometimes, we were young. We thought we were in love with somebody. We have kids now.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's the basis of why I wanted you to come in. Is because obviously we're Facebook friends. Mm-hmm. And I see the majority of what you post is about your kids. And about, things going on in their lives and stuff like that. And I love that shit. You know why? Because I see the genuineness behind it. You know what I mean? Like, you see a girl that has like one or two kids and like they'll post pictures together like they're happy. Mm-hmm. And then you see like on their Facebook stories or Instagram stories that that same day that they were with their kids they're like getting fucked up. They're like drinking or they're like drinking every other night or every weekend and stuff like that. Yeah. And who those are, right? Like mm-hmm. Like just looking at them like,
oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Fucking dressing, you know what I'm saying, a little crazy. Their makeup mm-hmm. is always better than the food that they cook. You know what I'm saying? It's the truth. It's the truth. So I see yours and it's very genuine and I love it. And then also we were talking a little bit earlier, before we started, was that I didn't know you didn't work.
Oh yes, I haven't worked in I think it's like 3 years already.
Really?
Yes. Or no, I lied. So it was 2 years. About 2.5 years.
That's a long time. That's really...
Yeah, it is a long time.
And then we really didn't get too much into it, but how do you feel about it? Like, how do you like that, or how do you...
I mean, like I said, everyone has different background situations, kids, but with me per se, because of his kids plus my two, it still is kind of very draining because he has one, his youngest is 13, she has autism, mm-hmm. and we've been told the mentality of a 4-year-old. So then with her and her disability, and then his oldest is 14, she has a mental disability with ADHD and ODD, which is oppositional defiant disorder, and then she has anxiety. And they were thinking possibly bipolar disorder, but she's too young to tell. But she has those. So a mix with, 2 kids that kind of fell into your lap because their mother decided, I don't want to be a parent, and then kind of have to take hold of the reins. I'm not like trying to take the credit away of doing everything because their dad had to work.
Yeah.
He's a truck driver. He works overnight. His hours are messed up. So I figured I'm not working. I'm a mother. I just felt like it was put upon me for a reason, and I didn't mind helping him. So it's like a lot of that was very draining to do, and it still is very draining to do, and it's taken a lot of time away from my kids dealing mm-hmm. with them. So being a stay-at-home mom, I mean, yes, I don't have to work, but I do have to work with doctor's appointments, sickness, making sure meds are taken.
Everything. Yeah, the household,
cleaning the house, taking care of the animals.
That would probably resonate with a lot of people that do that and maybe still work too. It's a fucking shitload of work. You know what I mean?
Is.
Like, especially if you have a lot of kids. So like we were saying, like 4 kids having to deal with everything. I could just imagine. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, I work a lot, but it's a different type of work. I honestly feel like you probably do, like mentally stressed, you probably do a lot more than me because that is a shitload.
It is.
So I don't envy you on that. But with all that you just said, does that take a toll on your relationship?
Honestly, so like me and him, we have the greatest relationship. Like So I'm very like grateful that he's seen the problems and issues that his oldest was giving me, because like we would get into it. He would like, and I would say like, look what she's doing. She's doing this. She's doing that. And he didn't just turn the other cheek. He's like, I know what she's doing. You know, what can we do? So like me and him, we had to kind of like step into this new world of like, she has this disability. Like we didn't know what it was. I had to do research. So it's like that kind of made us a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
But honestly, we don't ever argue. We do the petty like bickering like everybody does.
Of course.
But nothing
Nothing
big.
major.
No,
Nothing
we've
major.
never were on the verge of. We never cheated on each other. We've never had even like thoughts of it. You know, everything's great. But it just takes a toll because he sees how stressed I am, because I'm with them, taking care of them most of the time. I have to deal with it most of the time. And there's days or weeks where I'm like, you have to take care of her. I can't do it right now. You know, I have my two, and then I have his autistic child that I'm still trying to get her in a routine to take care of herself, which she's actually doing. So that I'm grateful for. But like I said, it's a lot of work with 4 kids, especially with mental disabilities.
Absolutely, I can imagine. I don't know how that is, but I can only imagine.
Yeah, like, you know, people, they talk and they're like, well, how old is she? And it's like, it's not just her age that's a factor. There's like a history behind it. Like, there's the way she was raised. There's also like genetics. I don't know how you are, but I strongly believe in genetics. Like, I feel like a mix with his family and the mom's family, it just combined and created their disabilities.
Have you researched that?
Like in psychology, we were talking about it like in school, and we were talking about different traits and stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, like their mom has her own mental issues. Mental issues run on his side of the family.
Oh yeah, I think that's true, right? So like mental history can be not necessarily like genetic, but like you know, you're more predisposed to have, you know what I'm saying, having some type of mental issues if you have that in your family.
Yeah, so it's like a mix with
everything,
all them, and then they created these two. It's like, oof.
I got you. It could, definitely. I don't know enough about that, so I can't really say, but I can imagine. But so like whenever you met your boyfriend, how old were your kids when that happened?
My daughter was 3, and then my son was 5.
How did that how was the dynamic between them and your boyfriend?
So like he wasn't really a kids person.
Even though he had kids.
Even though he had kids, you actually meet people like that. Like.
Oh no! I know, I get it.
Yeah, I have kids, but I don't like other people's kids.
That's how I am.
Yeah, so like.
I mean, I like kids. Like generally, I like kids, but I can't really stand them like as much. Like my son, he can do whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's a different type of bond. I like little babies. I love babies.
I love babies too.
Like I want to have more kids. I really, really do. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it takes a woman to have kids, and I don't feel like I will ever meet somebody that I can have kids. But I definitely want more kids. But every time I see babies, fuck man, I just want to carry them. I want to. I want to like squeeze their cheese. But yeah. So he wasn't really a big kid person, or like not other people's kids. So how did that work out in the beginning, or even now?
So like back then, I was working and going to school, so my kids were hardly with me because when my daughter was younger, she was always with her grandma.
Mm-hmm.
And then my son, he would stay a lot with my dad too, because my dad was like real attached to my son. So like when they were there, my kids kind of like avoided him, and he kind of avoided them. So, but then, you know, as time went on and I got introduced to his kids and they were over and then my kids came over, it kind of was like, okay, well, you know, they're here. But, yeah, he's pretty good with them now. Like, my son is a different thing. Like, he has his own issues going on. So my son's, like, real, like, to himself. And then my daughter's real outgoing. So he likes to hang out with my daughter because she's real outspoken and she acts silly. Yeah. So, yeah, it's pretty good.
Do they have a good relationship with their dad?
My son, no. And then my daughter, well, it's on and off because he doesn't know how to behave.
Does your son look at your boyfriend like a father?
To a point, like he tells him like, oh, he's a good stepdad, and like when it's Father's Day, he'll be like, oh well, let me get him something.
Yeah, because he was old enough to understand that wasn't his father. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he
What
knows.
about your daughter? Because I mean, she was 3.
Yeah. At the time, she just saw. She didn't really know, like, dig too much into it, but now she's like, oh, this is Thomas, my stepdad, and whatnot. And
so she refers to him like stepdad.
Yeah, like on Father's Day, she'll like make him a card.
Yeah.
And stuff, and she draws pictures of us as a family, and then, it's funny because on Valentine's Day, I went to Walmart last minute to get him a card, and I'm writing him a letter. She's like, who are you writing that to? And I'm like, and I said, it's some guy, and she's like, but it says Honey Bunch, and I said, I call him Honey Bunch too, so Thomas doesn't think I'm cheating on him. And then she started crying, and she's like, I'm gonna go tell.
How old is she?
She's 10.
Really?
So she goes to the room, and she's gonna go tell on me, and I'm like, I'm just kidding.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
so but to see that, like, she cares that much.
She knows, that's family already.
Yeah, she's like, no, I don't want you to be with anyone else.
I mean, of course.
Yeah, but
kids
I'm
know.
not.
Like, kids don't want change as much as.
No.
Especially kids, you know what I mean? And I get that. I understand. And the reason I ask is, I mean, 3 years old, you kind of don't have a concept of, maybe you do, of like, dad, mom, this and that.
Yeah.
But I mean, you said that her dad was like in and off, like on and off with her, so she understands, who her real dad is. And
yeah, she knows.
Yeah.
But I mean, close with him, not too much because he gets thrown in jail. He's out in and out. Like I say, he doesn't know how to behave.
One of those.
Yes, one of those. But she knows, and like I said, she's content being with me because I've talked to her. I said, when your dad gets out, are you gonna go visit? And she's like, can I just do it where I'm with you 1 week and I go with him, then I'm with you, and then with you again? So like technically 1 month. I mean, one time out of the month. And I'm like, oh, okay. But I have sole custody of her. So
yeah.
It's pretty much whenever I say.
Yeah, I got you. Crazy.
Yeah, but she'd rather be with me for the most part.
Of course. I mean, she's been with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why would she want to know anything different? Don't get me wrong. Like, so, in my case, I never lived with my dad. I think he lived with me for like a short period of time when I was like super young.
Mm-hmm.
But he was never there. Like, I love my father because he never left me. But to say that he did, like the fatherly things, he never did that. Like, never showed me how to shave, how to play any sports.
Okay,
Plus, he was a grown ass man, like an older man. Like, whenever by the time I was already older, he had me when he was like 38, I think, almost near 40. You know what I'm saying? So I'm the youngest out of like all his kids and my mom's kids. So, I always knew that he was my father, even though like he was never really there.
Mm-hmm.
But I see that and I was like, man, I can never do that. Like, I see my son now and I'm like, fuck, I could not go like the 5 days that I was telling you about that I don't see him, like 4 or 5 days. It kills me. It really, really does. As much as people don't like believe that, because another part of the conversation that we were having earlier is like single parents. Everybody always talks about single moms.
Yeah.
And single moms do this, single mom. Don't get me wrong. If you are a single mom and you have your kids 100% of the time, power to you, because I understand how it is.
Mm-hmm.
But people leave out the single dads. You know what I'm saying?
They do.
I understand it's not as like prominent. It's not as normal to see that. But I take being a father very seriously. You know what I'm saying? Very, very seriously. You know why? Because I understand that that's your investment. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are investing your time, your energy to this person that is going to grow up, and how they grow up is going to be depending on you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you raise a child with domestic violence or with bad people around them, things like that, it is going to somehow affect them later on in life.
Yeah.
And I try to provide a perfect life for my son. I try to spoil him. I try to do that because it's a natural thing.
Mm-hmm.
I came from the fucking slums, and I say that with confidence because it really did make me who I am. But I came from that. My parents were never married. They didn't even stay together. I mean, I could say I was an accident, right? Fine, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that early on in life. Nobody really cared, about me. I was just another kid in the family. People didn't expect shit from me, right? And I knew that at a very, very young age. And that's why I really changed my life around. You know what I'm saying? Like growing up where we grew up, like in that side of town, in a fucking charter school where we didn't even have classrooms. We had like portables and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many kids were in there? Like 100 kids. Like,
and we had like, and then we had like 30 kids in one class.
Yes, it was crazy. We grew up in the not so fortunate side of town, but knowing that and going through that, when I made a lot of mistakes. I got arrested a lot. I got in trouble a lot. I did all my dumb shit. But I knew early on that I needed to do something, because if not, I'm just gonna be another statistic. Like I opened my eyes very early.
Mm-hmm.
So once I really did try to, I put my life back into, the correct straight and narrow. Once I had my son, I was like, I need to do everything that I can that he doesn't go through the shit that I did. So that's why I spoil him. That's why I don't want him to know the shit that we went through, because it doesn't help you out. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I'm very successful and I'm very accomplished for what I've been through and how old I am. But I can just imagine how much more further I could have been in life if I had a very solid foundation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Both mom and dad. My tuition paid for college and university. Instead of me having to work and bust my ass and doing all that, like that's what I want to provide for my son, where he doesn't have to worry about money. He doesn't have to worry about a car, transportation. Like he just has to worry about going to school, getting a degree, and doing all that, if that's what he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
But people they like underlook the single father thing, and it bothers me because I see a lot of women that have their kids. Like I was saying, they just put a picture up that they're happy, but they're fucking like 2-3 dudes a month. And this is true because I know women like that. Without saying names or nothing, I know a lot of women that are like, still fucking with this one guy and then still fucking with like their baby's dad, or they're fucking leaving their kids at home with their grandma or a babysitter just so they can do their bullshit, and they always make an excuse for it. Like, well, I need to be happy so my kids can be happy. Bitch, shut the fuck up.
But I feel like there's different levels of that. Like I said, you're an adult. I understand you have needs, but also at the same time, I'm like, you still have priorities in a way. So it's like, I always feel that, okay, you have a steady job, you're good. You have a steady home, you're okay. You have transportation, you're okay. Mm-hmm. I've left my kids, to hang out with my friends and whatnot.
Not a problem.
But here's the thing. I'm glad I did, because if I didn't, and when I met Thomas when I was 22 years old, I settled for all this shit when I was 22 years old. I was technically a stepmom literally at 23. So if I didn't get out on my fun, I wouldn't have been as committed to him and his situation as I am now. So it's like, and the same thing with him. After he broke up with his kid's mom, he went out, he did his thing. And it's like we met each other at the right time, because it's like we did it all. We don't need it anymore. It's not in my system, not in his system anymore.
Yeah, got you. So you got to get it out of your system. I get that.
Situations.
I get that. But no, absolutely. Especially since you have your kids all the time, right? I get that, because I look back at it. Everybody knows, like everybody that I hang out with, they always know that when I have my son, I do not go out. Yeah. I never have left my son with my mom to do some bullshit. Ever. So, you know why? Because like I was saying, I have him half the time. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, when I have my son for 5 days in a row, and then I don't have him 5 days in a row, those 5 days I don't have him, that's when I do my shit. That's when I do my shit. Now, if I were in the situation like you, where I had my son full time, then obviously I'm going to have to, take him to my mom's or whoever takes care of your kid for like a night so I can go out and do that. But my thing is, that is not my priority. Mm-hmm. I know you need it so you don't self-implode. I get it. Everybody needs to hang out with friends, relax, have a drink, have dinner with people, whatever the case is. But don't make that a priority.
Oh, yeah.
Don't make that like a weekly thing. Don't make that every other day type of thing. And women do that shit. Women do that. But I talk about it like a lot with my parents and my mom. You know, I'm like, you know what? Those women, you know how it's gonna come full circle for them when their kids are grown up, and they don't respect them as a mom, or they don't look at them as like, you know what, Nick, you didn't do a lot of shit for me when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it's good that you said that. I'm glad you pointed that out because people really need to understand that. But what what's the difference? There's a majority of women that do like to do that, go out with different guys, leave their kids at home, blah blah blah, whatever bullshit. What made you different? Why didn't you do that as much, or why don't you do that now?
So like, well, another thing too, why they stayed. So like, my granddaughter, woof, shit make
You
me
know
sound
you're
like
old. I
shit.
know you're old. I know you're old, but not that old.
No, my daughter stayed a lot with her grandparents because they always would tell me like, no, we'll keep her because she was real good with them. My son, he was always attached to my dad,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like, well, they were over there with them anyway, so it's like, well, I might as well. Um, so I would go out and whatnot, but I never like went out and met guys and picked up guys and stuff like that. I went out to drink, be with my friends, do that stuff. And even now, it's like I don't have the tolerance to hang out with anybody anymore.
I got you. I'm the same way.
Yeah, so it's like, but I never like made it priority. I mean, like I said, I've dated, whatnot. I tried to get the feels of relationship because there were experiences like, okay, I was with this one person. I didn't like what they did. They cheated on me. They whatever. So no. So I think ever since 18, I've only been in 3 like tried to be serious relationships. And then that's why I said I got all that experience out, and then I met, Thomas now, and I've learned a lot from it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And like I said, it's like now I'm like fully committed.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, see, the thing is, and I understand that, and I knew that very early. Like, I lived with women, or I'm sorry, they lived with me. Like, whenever I had my own apartments, my own thing, whatever. Growing up, I had really serious relationships. I traveled, I partied, I went out of state. I lived in different places. I went through a lot of all my life before my son. So when it came down, when my son was born, I was 23. So I think I was ready. I think I was, old enough. I've experienced enough. Like I said, I've lived on my own. I did all that by the time my son came around. So I feel like that's why it didn't really matter to me. Like once I got into a relationship with his mother, for 4 years, I didn't have any social medias. I never went out really. And I was okay with that because I already did it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Without getting into like real specifics, like his mom, my son's mom, she's doing it now because she never did it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
She had a daughter whenever we first met, and she was basically a mom. She had to be a mom by 18. Her daughter was born at 19, and then when she was 20, when she turned 21, she was pregnant with my son, and then she obviously, you have a baby, so you have to be committed to your child. You can't drink, you can't do all this stuff. So I feel like she didn't experience it, so she wanted to, right? Yeah. Which is whatever. It's okay.
It's understandable.
But yeah, I'm not gonna say it's okay. I'm sorry. It's understandable, but still not right. You have kids, so you can't do that shit. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You cannot be dropping off your kids when you have your kids to go out and party. Your priority shouldn't be to look for a guy. Your priority shouldn't be. Your priority should just be how to better yourself, how to better your situation, and be a better parent.
Yeah, so that's why I was saying, like, what is she doing? So, like, when I was going out dating, so, like, I was working 2 jobs, even when my daughter was with her grandparents, sometimes she would stay a week at a time. So, I would work extra until, like...
Take advantage of the situation. Yeah, we were talking about that.
Yeah, and if I didn't do that, thank goodness for them, because that's how I got my car. I saved enough money to get my car.
Do something, right?
Yeah.
Do something.
And I was doing school... And so I was going to classes during the day after work, and then go back to work for a couple hours, get off, and go to night class. And so that's why I'm like, okay, maybe if you're doing something, productive like that.
Of course.
But I feel like if you're not working, or you are working a half-assed job just to get by,
Exactly.
and you're not trying to better yourself, I feel like that shouldn't be priority.
If the mother of my son, if I genuinely knew that she was trying really hard, going to school, working really hard for, her kids, I would help her. I would do anything that I can to help her. You know why? Because even though we're not together, she's good, my son is good. She's happy, my son is happy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But she's not like that. Like she's not. I'm sorry. She's not like that. She wants to like, you know what I'm saying? Like I told you, she got on like dating websites like right after we broke up. We did, this and that. Like she wanted to. Yes. And to me, it's just like, I've been single for about a year and a half, and it doesn't matter to me. Like I meet a lot of women. Like I meet a lot of women, and I talk to them, but to me, it's like I don't care if nothing ever happens. You know why? Because to me, if it's supposed to happen, it's gonna happen. But I'm not gonna go out of my way, like to be like, oh hey, like what's up, blah, 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 like no, absolutely not. Like if it comes to me, and we vibe, we click, and everything's great, by all means, I'm all open for a relationship. But I'm by no means, trying to.
So you're not gonna seek it.
I don't seek it. I don't seek it. You know why? Because I feel like I'm a real like traditional man. I feel like I have to provide, 100% for a woman. I have to do everything, and the woman traditionally has to like take care of the kids, take care of the home. She takes care of me. I take care of her.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? A woman doesn't like. A woman never really like had to worry about. Roof over the head, transportation, money in the bank. They never had to worry that when they were with me. So, I don't want that responsibility right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm really happy with my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can do whatever I want. If I do want some company, somebody to talk to, hang out with, go drink with, I'm fortunate enough that I have people like that in my life. And, I can do my bullshit, whatever. And I don't have no obligations.
Yeah, like, you have no one to answer to.
I have no and if a woman feels some type of way about it, like, well, he should text me because we're talking. That's your fault. That's not mine. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't have to, because we're not together. And if I really wanted it, then I would put in that effort just as much as you are. But I'm not. Like, that's just not me. But that's just the way that that's just the way that I am, right? Everybody's not like that.
Everyone's different.
But that's a contrast. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if ages are different. You know what I'm saying? Because the mother of my son, she's 3 years younger than me. Lack of experience. Like I said, she never lived by herself until now. You know what I'm saying? So it could be a multitude of things. But to me, what I was explaining to you earlier was that I just want to better myself. I'm allotted this time. I want to better myself, better my son's life. So I can be good. Like, I think about the future. Like, I'm thinking about, I want to retire at 45. At 45, I want to have a company. I want to have a business. I want to have residual income to where I don't have to work and love my life. That's what I'm trying to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, nobody was doing that. Nobody does that now. I'm 28 years old. You know what I'm saying? At 23, when I had my son, my mind was, I need to finish school. I need to have a career. I need to buy a house.
Yeah.
And I did all that. Bought my house at 26. I've been independent since I was 19. I've done all this stuff, but who, you know what I'm saying? Like, who did that for me? Nobody. I want to do all that the right way. Sacrifice everything now. Your time, your effort. Sacrifice everything. So when you're good, everything's said and done, you don't have to worry. Because I guarantee you, majority of people, they don't know what to do when they get older. Like, they're working the same job. They have no investments. They have no savings. I don't think that way. I'm like, right now, every conversation that I have with my parents or my friends, I'm like, what can we do to further ourselves?
Oh, yeah. It's actually scary how many people are like me and my husband or boyfriend, whatever you want. I just say husband, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm married.
Yeah, we talk about it, and that's another reason we don't talk to a lot of people, because there's a lot of people that are content. And I'm like,
yes,
you are who you surround yourself
yes.
with. So it's like, no, like he said, like he's working a lot because he wants to retire,
yes.
Young. He's like, and then me, and he tells me all the time, he reminds me, he's like, don't worry, everything's gonna pass, everything's gonna settle, don't worry, I'm gonna take care of you. He's like, I'll pay for your school when we move. So then I get my career going, and I tell him I want to work. He tells me all the time, like, I don't want you to work, I don't want you to work. But I tell him I want to work because if something happens to you, I want to take care of you like you've taken care of me. And he's like, when we retire, we can go on vacations. We don't have to worry about
money. Exactly. Like, that's what my parents do. My parents are older. My mom, like I was telling you, she hasn't worked in 20 years. My stepdad works very hard. Their house is paid off. Their cars are paid off. They have no bills. All they do is travel. They travel at least like 5 times a year.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
And that's exactly what I want to do too. But I want to do it earlier than they did. They're in their 50s, and I want to do that by like my early 40s. Like, I want to be already set like that. And but it's just crazy. It's really crazy how people are, how people go about. But it. And I'm glad, like, I'm a very, like, hopeless romantic. Like, I love it. Like, I love that, you're happy, you're with your dude. I wish that upon everybody.
Oh, I know.
But the fact is that it doesn't happen.
It's very rare you see that.
It doesn't happen.
It's so sad. Like, it really makes me sad.
It really does. But, you can never change people. You can never, they are who they are. I feel like nowadays, women are more like men and men are more like women. Like, men are more in their feelings. Women are like trying to be independent. Like, women now will fuck guys with no emotion, no remorse.
Yeah.
Trust me, because I've been a victim of it, and it feels terrible. It feels terrible. I'm being serious.
Yeah.
Because what if you do like these women and they don't give a fuck about you, and then you're like, and it also breeds a cycle. You know what I'm saying? This guy got hurt by this girl, so he hurts this girl, and then this girl got hurt by this guy, and it's such and so on and so forth. And but I don't know. Like I said, I'm hopeful for people. I wish everybody happiness. It's just that there's a lot of things going against us, especially like our generation. Like, you hear a lot about older people that have been married for 50 years, 40 years, whatever the case is. You know why? It's because they didn't have Tinder back then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they didn't have
social media.
They didn't have social media. You can pull up an app on your phone right now. Let's say you break up with your dude, you want to rebound. You can pull up an app on your phone and find 500 people within a 2-mile radius that would take you out on a date or fucking take you out, like try to talk to you, and
do the deed,
obviously that's the main reason.
Yeah,
is do the deed, right?
It's just so fast how it's like you said,
it changes
after your girlfriend and you broke up. It's like all of a sudden, real quick, she's already
everything. And it's like
in the palm of your hand.
In the palm of your hand, you can do everything. You can all this shit, like all, and that's why it's different. Like I tell people all the time, our generation, we have so much going against us that's why love doesn't exist. That's why people are not together. Marriages, it used to be 50%. I think like the statistic is now more than 50% of all marriages fail because it's not, because of shit like that.
Yeah.
And I tell people this is kind of stupid and awkward, but I'm be honest. Mark my words. Within 10, 20 years, sex robots are going to be the thing. There's not going to be no more marriages. No, they are.
And
but
it's true.
But they're trying to regulate it. They're trying to do it. They want to open up like sex robot brothels where you can just go in there and fuck them.
I heard that.
That is going to change the dynamic. Because what are men going to do? What are men going to do? Like, fuck this chick. She like did this, and that. Maybe could have been something minor, whatever. You know what? Fuck her. I'm just going to go and fuck a robot.
Yeah, like it's cleaner. I won't get a disease.
Yeah, and then that can also be another conversation. It's like, well, if they try to get back with that girl, well, babe, I didn't cheat on you. I just fucked this robot.
I just fucked this robot.
I fucked this robot. I mean, that's not cheating. Would you consider that cheating? If your boyfriend told you tomorrow, hey, you know what? I want to confess. I fucked this sex robot.
Probably not, because I'd be like, okay, I'd rather you fuck a robot because like that the robot won't get in her feelings and she won't be calling you back like, hey, what are you doing? Or hey, do you want to do it again?
That's fun. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I'd rather
it's just a higher form of masturbation, right?
Basically. Yeah, because people are different. I mean, there's people that are like, they're into toys and
that's so strange. That's so. But I'm telling you, mark my words. That is, I'm sure we'll still be friends in 20 years. Sex robots are going to be running rampant. They're going to be like in the corner of streets. They're making AI in these fucking sex robots where you have to treat them nicely in order for them to let you fuck. Did you know that shit?
I saw a video on that.
That is fucking crazy. That is crazy. That is crazy. But I'm telling you, it's going to shift that paradigm where I gotta be cordial to a girl, I gotta talk nice to her, I gotta take her out, I gotta be this, I gotta be a gentleman, so she could eventually let me fuck her. Now, I could just have this fucking sex slave that's robotic, that looks and feels like a real woman, like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, they're making them so crazy nowadays. Why do I have to put up with anything else? Why do I have to put up with a woman? Let me just get this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and plus it's like, say, my girlfriend, she doesn't like to give me, she won't let me give her anal. But this robot will.
Well, this robot will let me do
whatever I want. I can put it wherever.
I'm telling you, it is going to be so common, that it's going to change it up. It's going to change. And I'm real curious how that's going to change society. Because it is going to change it, I just don't know how. It's so funny.
We'll see soon. 20 years ago, really fast.
Invest in sex robots. You want to make money later on in life? Invest in sex robots. And marijuana, those two things.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be legal. Definitely going to be legal.
I'm sure it will.
But, it's just so crazy. Going back to the topic is being a parent is something different. It really is. But people take it so lightly. I hate the whole fucking phrase that it takes a village to raise a kid. No, it doesn't. No, it does not. It takes a good person, a good parent to raise a kid.
Patience, a lot of patience.
Everything. You know why? A good parent will surround that kid with good people. Will raise that kid right. It doesn't take a fucking village to raise a child. You know what I'm saying? That's just such a dumb shit to say. Because, I'm telling you, like, you can have a whole family that raises your kid. I get that. But what I'm saying is, if your family's no good for you or no good for your child, then you're not going to have your kid around that family. But if you have no other choice, let's just say your family are very like mean to you, very hateful, and they display that in front of your kid, but you need your family to like watch your kid or help you out financially, then you're going to put that kid around that negativity. That's my point. Mm-hmm. It takes one person. It takes a parent. It doesn't even take two, because one parent doesn't even have to be there. It takes one parent to raise a kid right. If they want to give them to a village, if they want to expose them to that village, to that family, to that circle of people, then do that. But it's still that one person's choice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's that.
That's why I don't do that. And people always say it's because biologically, a woman, as soon as she's started her menstrual cycle, that's when she can have kids. So girls can have kids at what age? Like 12 years old, right? Something like that. That's when they start.
Nowadays, it's as young as 8.
Really?
Yes.
An 8-year-old can have like a menstrual cycle?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I think like biblically, like women, they're supposed to have kids young because their body is inapt to do that, right? Like you can have a kid at a young age. I think that's when you're supposed to. But society, the way the world works is you cannot sustain yourself being an 8-year-old, a 12-year-old kid and raising a kid. That just you can't do that, right? So that's why we have kids in the 20s and 30s. And then women stop having, they can't have kids after what, like 40, something like that?
I think it's 35. 35, yeah.
But there's like rare cases where like 40-year-olds can have them, right?
You see a lot of people, like now that's like the new thing. You have women in their 40s having kids.
But it's really bad for them, right? Like I heard like there's a very high risk
there's
stuff.
Lots of risk.
But because your biology, the way that your body is made, it doesn't allow you to. You know what I'm saying? Your body is made to have kids at a young age, and I get it. That's why that phrase came about, because back in the day, women were having kids at 10 years old, 11 years old, and you can't sustain yourself like that, being that young. So it took their parents, their family members, their neighbors to help raise kids. I get it, but we're not in that society.
No.
If you can't financially take care of yourself and another child, don't have kids. If you are not mentally prepared, if you're not mentally, emotionally mature, don't have kids. If you are in a bad if you're in a bad situation, if you are breaking up and
Sorry, it's my stepdaughter's medicine time.
oh, no worries. If you're in a bad relationship, don't have kids. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of things. Like I know at least like 5 women right now that are pregnant that are having kids with a guy that they were just gonna leave like 2 weeks before that, or they cheated on them at some point in their relationship. That there is no reason why to have a kid with somebody like that you don't even know that you're gonna stay with.
Yeah, so you're gonna bring this kid in a toxic atmosphere because you know damn well her and her kid's dad are not gonna end it there. They're gonna keep going at it for a while with whatever bullshit they're gonna be going with. Definitely. And then the kid's gonna see it, and they see that and understand that. It's like with my stepdaughter, well, the oldest one, like she saw the nonsense her mom was going through, and then she saw the fights with her mother and the girlfriend, and it rolled onto her mentally. So it's almost like now we have to try and fix it.
Yeah.
And then, but she sees me and her dad, like they all see me and her dad, and my daughter's like, I want to find a Thomas. When I get older, I want a Thomas.
That's good.
So it's
that's
like,
awesome,
kids see this, how you are with your parenting, and that's what they're going to find and end up like with.
You set the example. You set the example.
You have to.
You set the example of that's another thing. So if your example is that, you find the person, maybe it wasn't their biological parent, you find a person that you fall in love with, and you show them what real love is, what real affection is, what caring is.
Mm-hmm.
You do that, then what else, how are they going to grow up? They're going to grow up knowing that, and they want that for themselves. But if you have your kid growing up in a violent relationship, where the woman is constantly bringing guys around, especially if you have a daughter, if your daughter's 5 and she already met like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys, that's terrible. Psychologically, that is terrible. You know what that breeds? Strippers. I'm being serious. Like that breeds the worst of the worst. Like what the fuck else? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just parenting is such a very, very, very serious thing, and nowadays society just dubs it as, everybody has kids, you can do whatever the fuck you want. No, that's another conversation too. Is like, I don't know where you stand, if you're pro-life, pro-choice, but I'm always between that. I'm always between it because.
Yeah, I'm in between it also. It's like, I get it. Accidents do happen. Like, even with birth control, accidents do happen. So it's like, say you're taking birth control because you do not want kids. Yeah. That's the reason. You do not want kids. But there's always that percentage where it just doesn't go.
It could happen.
And yes, so you can get pregnant.
But don't you think, though, if that happens, that's a clear sign that you should have a kid? If you're doing it the right way.
Not necessarily, because it's like mentally, what if she's like, no, I don't want a kid. This is why I don't want a kid, because it's like...
That's true. Yeah.
Because, like, say she doesn't have family to help her take care of a child. Say she's in a position where she's only able to afford taking care of herself. And then mentally, you don't know her mental stability. And, there's also postpartum depression where it can just sneak up on somebody.
That's a real thing, yeah.
And then, say the kid does come and it has colic. It has some kind of disability with it. So it's like, imagine all that stress put on this mother that didn't originally want to be a mother. And it can, crack somebody. It really can. That's why you see a lot of these people where they kill their babies, they strangle them, they do this and that, because it's like maybe they were good at the beginning, but then maybe they just one day snap because they're like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of factors that come into that. That's why I believe, like, okay, maybe. But then if you're going around throwing it around and you get pregnant, and it's like, well, you should have did a lot of preventatives.
Got you.
But like I said, there's different things, and also statutory rape, situations like that. It's like, I believe you should get it.
That was one of the main topics, was rape. Now we have technology where you can detect if the kid is going to be, going to have Down syndrome, is going to have some type of disability. Like, you can know that before they're born. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a very touchy subject. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you going to abort that kid because the type of life that a person that has Down syndrome? Not to say that they can. There's people with Down syndromes that have accomplished a lot. You know what I'm saying? That have done a lot and done this and that. But To say that they're not gonna have a normal life, that's very true. To say that they're gonna struggle, very true. So would you want that for your kid, having to struggle, having to be, ridiculed? You know how life is. People get bullied all
Yeah.
the time, and they don't have disabilities. So, going through that, it's a very touchy subject. I'm on both sides. Like, to me, it's like if you were just careless and you were having unprotected sex and you got pregnant, you should have a kid. You should keep the kid. If things like that happen, where the rape, maybe you mentally weren't prepared, but you still tried to not have kids, and it just so happened that you were trying to be responsible, but it still happened. It's just a lot of ways to go about it. It's just so much ways to go about it.
Yeah, there's so many different like.
Did you hear New York now that you can
That is insane.
abort kids the day of birth, up to
Like,
the day of birth.
that is just so
It's
stupid.
crazy, right? It's crazy. It takes morality to a different level, and I talk about it to a couple people, and it's fucking wild. Imagine, a baby is full born,
Yes,
like it's fully full term.
and
It's there. You're ready, and you can. That's fucking murder. That's fucking
pretty
crazy.
much, it's like the baby's here. Like you can't. Like how can a mother go full term carrying a child in her womb, and it's born, and it's like I don't want it. Like
I don't. Yeah, I don't know the specifics on how that works, but
even
it's so fucking crazy.
And there's so many people. Like I had a friend. Like this is another reason it pisses me off. I had a friend that I worked with. Her and her husband have been trying so long to have
Yeah,
a
and then you have
baby.
situations
And you
like that.
have people like this just getting pregnant, and they're they're murdering their children. They're just like, well, I don't want to take care of it. So and they're getting
kids that get thrown in bags, kids that just do this and that. I didn't know this up until recently. My stepfather had to go to the ER, and I went to take him. We were there in the waiting room. There is a station, an area at the hospital where people can leave their babies.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're doing that at certain.
That's fucking.
Places.
And I was like, and I was talking to, I think I was talking to my brother or his girlfriend at there at the time, and I was like, I guess it's such a problem. I guess that happens so often that they had to do that. Because I'm pretty sure that if one or two people did it, or if there wasn't a big number on it, they wouldn't do it. They set up a station where you can drop your kid off if you don't want it.
That's so sad.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy. But like I'm saying, like I was telling you, people are different. They're they do what they want, and sometimes a lot of the times it's not what you're supposed to do. It's just what they want to do. And that's the problem. But as parents, we just gotta try to do what we can for our kids.
Yeah.
We try to better ourselves. And I think you're great. Like I said, everybody should follow you on social medias because it's an inspiration. I really do. I really, really do enjoy looking at that shit. Like, I like the cheesy shit. Like, I like the couples that are kissing and hugging. Like, people get mad at that. I'm like, dude, fucking awesome. I wish I could have that, but I just know it doesn't work because you know why? I know it sucks when you know a lot and you've experienced a lot because it doesn't work against you. Those people that I saw, kissing and making out or hugging and holding hands a year ago, they're probably not together now.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't really post stuff like that. I like posting like Snapchats of me and him like talking shit to each other because I'm like.
That's real life shit,
Yeah, it's like everybody posts like, oh, they're kissing, holding hands. I mean, it's cute and all, but like me and him are different. We joke around, like we tell each other like, oh fuck you, whatever, because it's funny, it's different.
That's
like,
awesome.
We have a very high sense of humor with each other.
That's great. That's really, really great. That's what I want for everybody. Like I said, I love seeing shit like that. I love seeing people happy. I really do. Like, a lot of guys nowadays, they see other guys and they feel like they gotta, show their manliness or hate on somebody for doing well. I'm not like that. I see somebody and I'm like, dude, like, hey man, if there's something that I can help you out with, I'll help you. If there's maybe if I need some help, maybe I wouldn't mind asking you. Like I'm very about progression. I'm all about progress. Like I want everybody to do well. And it just sucks a lot of people are not like that, but you have to keep going. You have to keep on.
I try doing that with people. Like I try to like helping. That's another reason I don't talk to anybody anymore because I've always tried to like help other people and be like, oh, do you need this? Do you need that? or hey, I try to.
Yeah.
I try to do that for people, but then I never got the same in return.
Yeah. You can,
so
yeah, you can.
I broke it.
If let me see here.
No, you broke it.
Yeah, I broke it. You can just leave it. It doesn't matter.
Okay, there. But yeah, so like that's a big reason why I quit talking to people, because I'm not saying like, oh, I want it back, like you have to, but it's just common courtesy. So I've always tried to help people out, like with their kids or getting stuff for their kids, getting stuff for them. Like recently, so a friend I work with, she's a stay-at-home mom too, and she's always with her kids. Her and her husband haven't gone on a date since her oldest, who's 7 or 8, since he was 3. So I texted her and I told her, I said, when's the last time you went on a date? She's like, probably like 5 years ago. And I said, how about y'all plan something and I'll go and watch your kids?
Yeah.
So it's like I try to do stuff so I can see other people, be happy.
That's great. I mean, that's awesome. And like, the thing is, a lot of people are not like that.
No, they're not.
But you see the genuineness. If anybody would have told me that, probably wouldn't believe them. But because it's you, because I know you, I know like that's really who you are. Like that's really how I am. And then people may not. They probably see me and they're like, oh, this guy's not really like that. You know what I'm saying? I could be standoffish, at times, but I'm just because my attitude says something different. It doesn't mean that I don't want you to do well. Like I wish everybody well. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm not all like nice and whatever. I mean, I do have a bad side to me. I have an irritated, angry side to me too. But for the most part, I try to be like nice to people, and like even when I see old couples, like I'll stop what I'm doing, I'll stare, I'm like, oh my god, they're so cute.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wish that upon everybody. I want that for myself, but like I said, I don't look for it. You know what I mean? I feel like the people that look for it and they're putting themselves out there, they attract the wrong men and they give the wrong men the chances. Somebody that wants to put in effort, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Then they're weeding through all of that to get to you. And then when they finally get there, they got you. They already know all the effort that they put in just to get there. They're not going to fuck it up. So very, very, very different. Very different. But like I said, great conversation. Great topics. See if we can come back, another time and we can get an update about how you and your boyfriend, probably husband at that time, because I'm pretty sure y'all get married, very soon. And then just see how the kids are doing, everything well. I'm going to put on here your social medias, if you don't mind. So we can, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of moms that can kind of, relate to how you are about, really involved with your kids, the relationship that you have with your boyfriend, very real, very like uncut, and like I said, inspire that, like in wanting to help people progress if people have questions, because people talk to me all the time because I like to talk and I like to give my opinion, and I want that for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think I would be more so for like stepmoms. I mean, moms, but being a stepmom is the hardest job in the world. It really is. Like, I mean, you're a mom, it's a hard job, but you're taking care of kids that you didn't raise, that you didn't mold. They were already molded by somebody else, especially with mental disabilities.
Yeah.
So it's like I said,
that's where Hispanics don't like taking care of kids that they're not theirs.
Oh yeah.
And that's the truth. That's the truth.
But seriously, these girls, they were just all of a sudden like, here, you take care of them. And I say me because the mother knew Thomas had to go to work. Mm-hmm. So it was me they were always with. And more so because they always talked about me. Like, oh, I'm with Katrina, we went here, we went there, we did this, we did that. So it's like, it's really hard taking care of somebody else's kids. Like I said, I've had to push my 2 kids aside for about going on 2 years to take care of them, to attend to their needs. And even then, I'm still doing it now. And it just so happened that my son, he talked to me. He's going to see a counselor because he's having like issues with the way he over worries. He has anxiety. And so I talked to him the other day, and I said, he actually told me, he said he felt like nobody cares about him. And I said, why do you think that? And I said, why do you think I don't care about you? I love you. You're my son. You're my first love. I had him at 16. If I didn't have him, I wouldn't have graduated high school. But because I had him, I graduated my senior year when I was actually a year behind.
Mm-hmm.
So I told him that. I was like, I did all that for you. And he kind of brought up, like, it started ever since the girls stayed with us because I was attending so much to them.
That's a real thing. As much as that's not true, but to them, that's the truth.
That's what
to them, they see that attention's not being brought upon them. So.
Yeah, so it's like that makes me sad because I have to juggle him. I have to juggle my daughter. I gotta juggle this. I gotta juggle that one. And like I said, his two, I care for them a lot, but it is hard.
I can imagine.
So that's why I say, like, being a stepmom, it's a full-time stepmom at that.
Yes.
And, I'm grateful I don't have to deal with the mother anymore for now, unless she wants to pop up all of a sudden. But for the most part, it's very stressful. I'm glad they don't hate me to where they're, they act like, no, I don't want to do anything with her or whatever. But it's still hard having to direct them and, with Thomas always at work, so it's like I have to tell him sometimes, like, hey, you got to take the lead on the oldest because I can't do it right now. It drains me so much, and it takes away my energy from dealing with the other kids. So that's why I say, like, a lot of stepmoms out there, like, there's groups out there for them. There's like these tactics to deal with these kind of kids and to deal with, certain kind of stepkids they have. It's crazy. It's a whole different world.
I can imagine. I can only imagine. Like I said, I don't have experience with that, but I can just imagine how much stress, how much it is, and like I said, how it affects your, actual son. But I'm pretty sure, like I said, a lot of parents in general, women and men alike, would probably get something out of that. So, like I said, I want to put that on there so they can reach out to you, have good conversations, because I feel like you have an immense amount of knowledge about that. But yeah, so hopefully everything continues to go well. Next time we speak, like I said, I'm pretty sure, you'll be married. And
maybe.
Pretty sure. Hopefully, right? That's the plan. And then, we'll see. Like I said, we'll probably catch up again. We'll probably get an update from that.
Oh, yeah. Don't mind coming back. I have nothing else to do.
Anything else you want to say? Anything else you want to add?
Not really.
Well, like I said, we'll probably do it again whenever. I know, like, you're busy. So whenever you have time. But yeah, like I said, being a parent is a lot of work. I do not envy you whatsoever. So.
Yeah, no, it does take a lot of time.
Yeah, and that's our mark. But yeah, all right. So we're gonna finish up, and then thank you for coming. Thank you for
welcome.
stopping by, and like I said, we'll get an update sooner than later.
Okay, sounds good.
Boom.
Bam.
Awesome. That's so great. I love it.